Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. Spooky season is here, and we're kicking things off with the 2000 Devon Sawa film Final Destination. Joining us are paranormal experts BJ and Metra from the Unrefined Podcast. Welcome.
Thanks for having us on. I almost said thanks for coming on because I'm so used to hosting the podcast and bringing guests on. No, thank you for having us. This is fun.
But before we dive in, let's get into some
housekeeping.
If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here's a few ways you can.
Did you know writing a review and/or rating us helps us get more listeners, like this review? One of the best movie podcasts. The dynamic between the co-hosts Jackie and Danielle is what makes you keep coming back for more of their episodes. They are funny, witty, insightful, and all-around genuine folks who do in-depth reviews of movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. My favorite episodes to date are Glitter, Eve's Bayou, My Best Friend's Wedding, Raise Your Voice, Toy Story, The Best Man, Monsters, Inc., and The Babysitter's Club. Give No More Late Fees a listen today. And that is from our awesome friend, Shalina at Everything 90s Podcast. We love you. Love you. If you want to be featured and help us grow, head to Apple, Spotify, Podchasers, Good Pods, or your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review.
And this podcast runs on love and coffee. So if you'd like to buy us a virtual cup, head over to ko-fi.com/no more late fees.
And if you are still wanting to spend some cheddar, check out our merch on Redbubble at nomorelatefees.redbubble.com. Let's dive into this movie, Jackie. What is this movie about?
A young man's premonition of violent death saves the lives of 6 others. Soon after their escape, they begin dying one by one in mysterious freak accidents. Final Destination stars Devon Sawa, Ali Larter, Kerr Smith, and Tony Todd. It was directed by James Wong and written by Jeffrey Reddick, James Wong, and Glenn Morgan. And currently you can watch it on Stars. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
All right, so you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best would play on repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
Same-day rental.
Trash. Straight up trash.
It is the debris of a freaking blown up airplane. So we're going to start with BJ. What is your Y2K rating of Final Destination?
Okay, so this is like my younger self, right?
Correct.
My younger self probably would have done a 5-day rental on this because I probably would have thought it was like awesome. Like I would have thought that it's so cool. So I say 5-day rental for year 2000 BJ.
And Mitra?
I think the same 5-day rental. I would have been like, wow, that's so cool. I've never seen anything like this before, the way they die and stuff. So like the super realistic plane blowing up. So I would have been like, yeah, I'm all in.
Jackie?
I definitely own this movie. It was on heavy rotation, which we'll get into it, but there were certain elements. Apparently all the Final Destinations now bleed together in my mind because I was like, where's the tannin bed? When's the tannin bed showing up? And
I forgot about that.
Not this version.
I get them confused too, which is weird.
Yeah.
For me, it's a would buy it again because I do own it. So would buy for me as well. Let me get into the box office really quick. So the movie had a budget of $23 million and made $112.9 million worldwide.
Wow.
So
Pretty nice.
Really came in with some bank.
Wow.
And it opened at number 3 at the North American box office, making over $10 million in its opening weekend. The film remained at the 3rd position the following week before falling to number 7 the week after.
Oh,
Final
wow.
Destination remains the 10th highest grossing horror franchise of all time with $665 million over 5 films.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What's the highest grossing horror franchise?
Scream.
Scream. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. That makes sense.
That
I
makes
get that.
sense.
Yep.
You know, I said that with my whole chest, but I believe when we did Scream, that's what we found out. So Jackie's gonna fact check me.
I'm gonna, I'll look right now.
But I believe it is. Halloween is probably really close
When
behind
was
it.
Final Destination released? Like what month was it released? Do you know?
I don't know. Let me check.
I swear I just saw that date too when I was like looking.
I wondered if it was like a fall release or like a summer release.
It came out March 17th.
So none of the
yeah.
above.
It's like one of that dead time, so that was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. They were like, oops, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know what's also really weird about this? So it's crazy that it made this much money when really the whole premise of the script in itself was supposed to be an X-Files episode.
Oh.
Yeah, James Wong and almost everybody on the team was on the X-Files team. And they convinced the writer, like, you should actually make this into a movie. And that's how like things kind of snowballed into Final Destination. Could you imagine? That would have been it would have been a cool X-Files episode.
That's cool. I wonder what the premise would have been. Like, is it Mulder and Scully avoiding death?
Oh.
Like, I wonder.
No, I think it was very similar with the plane crash and them trying to figure out what exactly
why
happened.
like somebody survived.
Oh, so they're the FBI
they're the
agents.
they were the FBI agents.
Oh, I like it.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay, I found it. According to the nerdstash.com, 10 was Final Destination, 9 was Scream,
Oh,
8 is Predator.
that's a
Oh.
horror movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
7 is Halloween.
Okay.
Is this recent? And
This
all
is
the franchise, not the movie itself.
correct.
All the movies together.
Yeah. Paranormal Activity is 6.
Really?
Hannibal is 5.
Hannibal. Now this ain't
Saw-
added up.
Saw is 4.
I would think so.
They got a
I mean, number
million
one,
Saw
actually.
movies.
Yeah.
Resident Evil is 3.
Really?
Alien is 2, and The Conjuring is 1.
Okay.
I could understand The Conjuring.
I
They're
get-
pumping
I
those
get it,
movies out
like,
like crazy.
I get it. Those movies all made a lot of money because they had that high return, and I think a lot of them, especially like Paranormal Activity and stuff, were ones that you were like, I just saw this crazy movie, you should go see it, or I'm gonna go
Mhm.
back and see it again type situation. Almost like, remember when the Blair Witch came out? Like
Yes.
that's what that was like. The Blair Witch came out and everybody had to go see it because it was like, oh, the Blair Witch, and then they would go back and see it
And
again.
then they were
and everything.
disappointed.
Yes.
Yep.
Just me. I don't know.
I like
Okay.
that we did that last time.
Yeah.
So can you guys imagine anybody else in this movie playing the roles, subbing in for Devon Sawa and Ali Larter?
Mm. No, like no.
How about Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire before they even got to be in Spider-Man? Because
Okay, now
they
that
were
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
were the original
Were
casting
they?
choices. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that
Wow.
crazy?
That is
That
crazy.
is crazy.
I wonder what did Tobey Maguire do up until that
Not
point?
a
'Cause I didn't really know
goddamn
him.
thing. Not a
Right?
goddamn
Okay. all
Cider
right.
House Rules? I don't know. When did that
Okay.
come out?
I feel like Cider House Rules was right before he like that was what got him in contention of doing Spider-Man. That also was because of Leonardo DiCaprio like recommending him. But I think the reason why they even had Toby in their minds was because when they were looking at the role of Alex, they were thinking of like the everyman, like an average kid, you know, that anybody could kind of relate to. And I feel like obviously Toby has that look for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
That
He-
is crazy.
I could see him in that He does like the sad puppy dog look like really well, and I could see him being like,
Well,
I didn't do anything, and him
Uncle
being
Ben
all
does.
like sad and stuff. Like I could totally like
Sad.
see that, you know.
When they were casting Sawa, though, it was a little bit, they didn't say like right off the bat they wanted him. They made him like kind of go through the process. They actually went back and rewatched some of his filmography to try to see if he would fit. And it was watching Idle Hands that really nailed it for them. They were like, okay, I think that he can pull this off. They were
You
very
could have just looked
impressed.
at Casper and been like, come on.
Right?
Look at that. Look at that. Come on.
I haven't seen either one of them.
You haven't seen Idle Hands or Casper?
No, I haven't seen either one.
Oh wow. Yeah, we just did Casper this season and we did Idle Hands last season. It was one
This
of our
is
earlier
our
ones.
4th Devon Sawa movie.
Literally, I only
Is
know
it
him from
four?
Final
Yes, it
Destination.
is because we
Because
did Now and Then, this movie,
Now and then, yeah.
Casper, and Idle
Idle
Hands.
Hands.
Then what's now and then?
Oh, wow.
I
We're
don't
finding out a
know.
lot about Mika right now. I think she slept through the 90s.
I don't know. Sorry.
Also, Devon was the last to be cast in the movie. And he said that he read the script on a plane. Could you imagine
Oh
reading the
God,
script on a
what?
plane?
Yeah.
And he found himself peeking out the window of the engine like
Yeah.
every couple minutes. He was freaking
Of
out.
course.
Oh my
I
God.
couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really good thing when I was on a flight with him, I didn't piece together that like I'm on a flight with Devon Sawa.
How
he-
could you ever get on a plane with that man?
Right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I was just like trying to Google before the plane took off to ensure that it was him because I hadn't seen him grown up.
Yeah.
And I thought so, and his tattoos confirmed it. So
Okay. Okay. All right.
Ready to dive in, Jackie?
ready. So the movie opens. We see Alex, played by Devon Sawa, packing for a trip to France. Danielle, did you notice what was on his wall?
Packer! it made me feel like, okay, Alex, we cool.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get past his late early 2000s lamp. His early 2000s
You're gonna say
Toronto
his-
Raptors lamp.
I think you're gonna see his cargo pants.
Oh, the cargo pants too.
And that
Yeah,
that
I gotta
shirt
put-
he's wearing, that like wearing the collared shirt
Yes.
over like a sweater thing, or
Yeah.
like the blue sweater with the like gray lines. It was
Yes.
every boy in high
Everything's
school.
oversized.
Yeah.
Very big, oversized clothing. It's kind of almost like that Charlie Sheen 2.5 Men type shirt, like a bowling shirt.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
So he is very superstitious about his airline tag, and his mom goes to rip it off, and he's like, no, like I got here. So that must have been a good sign. And she's like, oh, whatever. And she rips off the tag.
I got really mad at that because I know certain things seem silly to people, but if I give you a boundary, which is
Mhm.
I would like to keep that,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I'm old enough, like it's not like I'm some little kid. Why would she go and do that? She
know.
killed that whole goddamn plane.
She did, because that's when
Yeah.
you first hear kind of the whooshing
Yeah.
death
Mhm.
sound.
So it's that freaking mom.
Right. That's why you don't rip the tag off your mattress. Like you gotta leave it there. You don't know what is gonna
Yes.
happen.
Are we gonna have a Pee-wee reference? I feel like it's
No,
coming.
not yet. We can't. Maybe
Oh,
at some
law.
point. Yeah. Aw.
So we find out it is their senior trip, and it's a big group of students and 2 teachers flying to France for 10 days. The flight number is 180, which comes back kind of
Yeah,
later
a
on.
lot of numbers
Mhm.
circulate, like because I think Alex's birthday
Mhm.
is the same as like his seat or something like that.
925, I think. it was
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of numerology situations going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now they've gotten into the agent stands. There's one teacher that is super into the French immersion experience, and he's like asking the kids to translate. Clear, played by Larter, I think is the only one that actually understands French and does well in class.
Yeah.
And then Alex is standing and like giving all of his documents and stuff to the agent. And the board, I can never tell, like, is it, I guess it is flipping because they used to do that. And so the board is flipping to update, and
Yeah.
it just kind of gives them some feels.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
takes me a while to realize that this movie is supposed to be taking place at JFK Airport in New York.
Mhm.
And because obviously it looks nothing like the real JFK.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't even, and also I'm like, I got confused because they had all like the French stuff all over the place, but I guess they were trying to say like it's a French airline, and so that's why they
Yeah.
had all the French stuff. But I was just, it kind of just threw me off. I'm like, are they leaving France and coming home? I'm confused.
Yeah.
I felt the same thing. I was with you too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I that threw me off, and it's not until like later on when they have like the news is talking about the plane situation, and then it starts to become very prevalent. Like you see Jones Beach later, and you
Mhm.
see Nassau County and stuff like that, because where JFK is, it's technically still in Queens, but very close to Long Island. So
Mhm.
it would make the most sense that if they lived on the island, that they would be taking JFK.
Yeah.
So as a New Yorker, I'm like, it's not
Like on
enough.
the
That's what
luggage
we
tag,
do.
well, on
Yeah.
his luggage tag that his mom rips, it says JFK on it.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But I'm like, it's still what, when they got there, I was like, what
Yeah.
is this place? And it's because they filmed this movie predominantly in Canada.
It's like where they film everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shot in Vancouver, and then they filmed additional scenes in Toronto and San Francisco.
Okay.
So nowhere close to New York.
No.
So now we're waiting for the flight to depart. That yellow Walkman with the yellow headphones, I had that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yes, that's
too.
the Sony Sportman Walkman.
What
That
made it
was
sport, by the way? Because it was,
right.
right? Like I don't
The
understand.
yellow.
Yeah, the yellow.
Yeah.
Like I'm
And-
gonna
and
go jogging with this, definitely.
And it had like a weird gasket. Like it almost like you had to like, there was some force to close it. And I
Yeah.
guess it was because it was like water resistant if you
Yeah.
were jogging in the rain or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I had
so-
the Sport boombox too, by the way. Bright yellow Sony Sport boombox. So it's really cool in the late 90s, guys.
I would just want it for the yellow color. I don't care if it's a sport, but easy
Yeah.
to find.
Yep.
Like not like everyone else's. Sign
Mhm.
me up. So one of the students is reading, or Clear has a magazine. She drops it, and when Alex picks it up and gives it back to her, it's on the page of Princess Diana's death. There's a news article about that.
Disrespectful. I didn't need that. It took me out of the movie because I was like, oh, damn. I remember she died.
Too soon. And then there's this weird speech that Alex's best friend Todd gives him about how they need to go take a shit now
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
don't want to risk it on the airplane with all of these hot girls around. And so then it like gets even worse because then it's like overhead shots of
Yeah.
them sitting on the toilet in a public bathroom.
Yeah.
Super awkward.
So awkward.
Yeah.
Very awkward because I love Jackie, but I don't want to sit and hear her shit.
I
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think
we're-
I'd ever say to a friend of mine, like, hey, do you want to go take a dump?
Yeah.
Like,
I
High
thought
five and go in the bathroom. I don't know. What do you
Right.
Yeah.
I
so
thought it was
ridiculous.
smart that they were going to use the bathroom because anyone
Exactly.
who's gone international knows you don't want to have to do that in a plane
That's true.
or go behind some. And then when you see where their seats are and they're in the back right by the toilets, like that's the worst. That's the
Mhm.
worst.
Yeah. I guess it was courteous at the end of the day, but also
Yeah.
just like slightly like a weirdest friend thing you could do.
Yes, exactly. While they're pooping, John Denver is playing on the overhead speaker, and Alex is like, he died in a plane crash, and then like
Oh
resumed.
my God, I didn't even think about that.
do?
I didn't even think about that.
Oh my gosh.
And they
Wow.
played that damn song throughout
They
the
did.
whole movie. I was
Yeah.
like, you know, I know it must be because they're like, okay, we got the rights to John Denver, that's it. But do you know how many like singers died in a plane crash? We
Yeah,
could have
like-
had a really good soundtrack if that was the like.
Yeah, right.
Maybe they went
premise.
after all of them, and that's the only one they could get.
Yes.
Well, would it
maybe.
have been better if, like, all of a sudden, like, they're taking like a big shit and like you hear La Bamba?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, something from the Big Bopper. It's like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It doesn't really fit the vibe.
What does he sing? Come on, let's twist again.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
did last summer.
Yeah. God, yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Or they could have just been taken like a big steamy dump to Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Exactly.
It could have happened. Yeah.
So now their bodies are empty and they are ready to get on the flight.
Mhm.
It's raining outside, and these two girls want to trade seats with Alex. And his friend is like adamant that like if they just sit next to hot girls on the airplane, that's all it's gonna take. And so he's like
Clearly.
signaling to right.
Never been late in
Yeah.
his life. Not surprised in the
Yeah.
slightest.
Right.
And he's like trying to signal to Alex, but Alex is a nice guy, so he trades spots with the girls. And then here comes Sean William Scott, like who's playing Billy, like bumbling onto the airplane. He's like, I got stuck in the
He got stuck in the bathroom, I think.
thank you.
Well, he
Yeah,
was taking a dump too.
yeah. Another dump buddy. And like the lock wouldn't open for him, so he had trouble getting onto the flight. He's eating the biggest container of Whoppers I've ever seen
He's
commercially
got like a
sold.
whole Halloween bag of it.
Yeah.
And he
Sounds
is
like a good
going to
time.
town.
Yeah. And they start to have turbulence. Oh, I forgot a part. And so when Alex does trade seats with the girls, he goes and sits next to Todd, and the lock on the TV tray, the lap tray breaks.
Mhm.
And so like now he has this floppy lap tray and stuff. And so then they start to experience turbulence, masks fall, everything starts happening. There's an explosion, some students are sucked out. There's blood everywhere, and like then Alex wakes up and he's still in his original seat, and the girls approach him and ask him to switch seats, and he's like, I just dreamt this. And so then to confirm his suspicions, he goes and sees if the latch is broken on the lap tray. So now he's freaking out. He's like, I know what I saw. The plane's going to explode. Kerr Smith is just real.
Carter.
Yeah, Carter. Yeah.
Yeah. Who plays Carter is just real. He's just looking for someone to argue with.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Rebel without a cause type.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we didn't go over as much is that like we've talked about Claire. She's a loner, very
Mhm.
smart, but she has like no friends. You see the two hot girls that Alex's best friend is like obsessed with, and his best friend Todd has a brother that's also with them, played by Brendan Fair, named George. And then you have Carter and his girlfriend Terry. So like you see that most of the people in pairs, with the exception again of Claire and Sean William Scott's character Billy. And you know they're not all friends, but they're obviously going all on this trip. And Alex, when he has his like freak out, the way that it happens, how he gets off the plane, how all the other people get off the plane, this is like the beginning of seeing that Carter is fucking unhinged
Mm-hmm.
and just giving roided out Barry vibes
Yes.
from I Know What You Did Last Summer. When we did I Know What You Did Last Summer,
Okay.
we coined that Barry played
Ryan
by
Philippe.
Ryan Philippe was just like ridiculously over the top with the testosterone for no reason.
Yeah.
I would say that Carter beats him tenfold in this movie. Like, I don't know what the director told Kerr Smith his motivation was, but he like there was no balance. It was just him on 80, 100 times the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is there backstory? Did did Alex do something to him in kindergarten he can't let go? Like, what the fuck is wrong with this boy?
He's just a Billy Zabka bully. That's all he is.
But Billy Zabka liked to bully people and had fun, and he had his gang or whatever normally, but like he would just like to beat people up. But Carter was just all the time.
Yeah. Playing like the stereotype high school, like you had the pretty girls, you know, you had the couple, and you have the guy that's just like with the hair in the car, and that was, you know, Kerr Smith or whatever his name is.
Why so mad?
Yeah,
because he's got like that chip on his shoulder. I don't know
about what. That's what kills me about this movie. Like, what are you mad about? You're a white man in America in 2000,
and you
have a muscle car. Yeah.
And a beautiful girlfriend, Terry.
Yeah.
But Terry was giving domestic violence vibes. Like, in 20 years, he's gonna be pounding a beer back every 10 seconds and like hitting on me because she's always apologizing for him. She's trying to calm him down, which she sucks at. I mean, these are all red flags that why are you dating this incomplete human being? It really irritated me. It's something I never saw the first time I saw the movie. And it wasn't even, it's like, Kerr, I seen you at Dawson's Creek. You know how to act. So what is this? This is not even acting. I could have done that role.
Listen, I felt like that about a lot of the people in this movie.
That was the difference between him and Ryan Phillippe, is that like this was not believable. I'm like, I don't believe for a second you're this angry person. You're just acting erratically, and I don't get it. Whereas like Barry's unhinged, and Barry's gonna do some shit.
Yes.
Yeah. It's you know what? Roids are the only thing that makes sense in this scenario.
Yeah.
Because it was like, what it doesn't make sense to me is when Devon Sawa is freaking out on the plane and the stewardesses come in and they're just like, listen, sir, you need to calm down or we're going to have to remove you from the plane. And then Kerr Smith just stands up and he's like, I'll remove you from the plane. And I'm like, well, like, where did that come from? He's like, all right, I have to handle this now because these people who do this full time,
maybe
don't
they had
need
a backstory and then they're like, this movie's too long and they like axed something.
Maybe. But like, why did he find it like a personal attack against him?
Well, I think it's just, maybe it was just like, you know, just to make the movie go along faster. I feel like movies back then just had a quicker pace. Like Alex goes from like just sitting on the thing to instantly like, we're going to crash. Like he doesn't even question himself. He jumps to the seat, grabs the tray, sees it, and he's like, we got to get off, you know? Like, immediately goes to that. Like how many people would immediately go to that conclusion? He's like, doesn't even like gather his thoughts or anything. It's just like, boom, like, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's just how the movie is. It just moves quick like that.
I was surprised that George didn't get off the plane.
Yeah. Me too.
I was surprised that he just sent already it's established very early on in the movie that Todd is not really reliable. So it was always confusing to me that he told Todd to go instead of just saying, you know what, don't move, don't fuck up. I'm going to go check on him, you know?
Yeah.
Also, are they supposed to be twin brothers? Because I'm confused why they're like the same age. Are they brothers? Like
they might be Irish twins, like maybe 9 months apart.
Like
and
maybe they are twins. I mean, like there are.
Let's not insult Brendan Fair. Okay.
Well, then they don't have to be identical twins.
Yeah,
be fraternal twins.
But still, like fraternal twins still look a little bit alike.
Maybe it was just a like French 3 trip and not necessarily like a senior French trip. Like, you know,
they said it was a senior trip.
They did say it was senior?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it was very confusing. And tell me that the guy who plays Todd does not look like a Kmart version of Christian Bale.
Yes.
Then.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Chad Donella. I don't mean to call you Kmart version, but I call it like I see
it. It is.
I feel like the Kmart that's like even lower than Walmart. I mean, you could have like been nice and said the Walmart version, but you went down a notch.
Yeah. You said Kmart. Wow. It's like
looking for that red light special.
So, like Danielle said, in the kerfuffle, a bunch of kids and both teachers get removed from the airplane, and essentially security's like, I'm not figuring this shit out. If you were removed from the plane, you're not allowed back on. So it was like Billy, played by Sean William Scott, and the only one who willingly got off the plane was Clear. She saw Alex freaking out and she got up and went with the crowd.
I think I would go too if I saw a freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have been like with my magazine and say, that white boy acting up again.
And
that would've
But then
been
you
my
would have
magazine.
died.
Well, I would look, we already established in our
That's right.
that we don't want to know. I'd rather just
That's
be on
right.
the plane and
Yeah.
thinking I'm going to Paris.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll get into it in a minute, but her motivations to me at that point are like so unclear. Like I was like, what is this weirdo girl doing? Like why?
Yeah.
do that? You know?
Okay, and how quickly do these two escalate to some pseudo relationship?
Yeah.
I was watching at the
Yeah.
end, and the amount of times she started calling Alex baby, I'm like, did I miss a scene? I full
You missed
on
nothing.
I was rewinding. I'm like, when did they get together? Y'all ain't kissed. Y'all ain't holding hands.
Mhm.
You just said, I feel what you feel. And
Yeah.
then baby this, baby that. What's happening?
Yep. It was weird.
Tell
Moved
me y'all
fast
didn't get
back then.
confused.
Yeah.
People move fast back then.
Yeah.
It
it
was
was
weird.
weird.
Like
was.
they didn't even look like they had chemistry with each other in that sense. And
Yeah.
then she's like, baby, don't do this to me. What?
Yeah.
What?
There's a
It
lot of
was
weird
weird.
chemistry questions in this in this
Yeah,
movie with
definitely.
like people and their motivations and things like that.
And her face acting, I don't know what else to call it. When they get like do a close up and she has to only act with her facial expressions,
Yeah.
not great.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
what
that-
is that? And like Jennifer Love Hewitt's eyeball acting is like 10 times better than whatever this face acting is
Eyeball
going
acting.
on right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I also am highly irritated by the woman. Well, Kristen Cloak is the actress
Mhm.
who plays Miss Luton.
Yes.
I did not like her character at all.
You know,
I mean,
it's funny.
She was annoying. I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was very weird at the beginning when she says something to the guy that hands Alex the pamphlet at the airport. Like her
Mhm.
vibe is weird there, and then it just gets weirder throughout the entire movie.
Well, she
Yeah.
seemed tough at first.
Yeah, I thought
And
she
then
was like
she
the fun
totally
teacher.
kind of loses it really quickly too.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
She has
Yeah.
no fire in her belly after
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
plane crash. And then the way she treats Alex is just like ridiculous.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So when they are kicked off the plane, the only exception that the pilot who made the executive decision that none of them were coming back on is that she's like, look, we're teachers and we can't let half of our students go without any supervision. So he says that, yes, one of you guys can go back on. And so then her and the very enthusiastic French teacher are trying to decide. And she's like, no, you're like really into this French thing. We can take a later flight, go. And so he does. And then Alex and Carter start fighting again, or
Mhm.
not again, but Carter gets all riled up.
They're on the ground
Yeah.
fighting, and the security guards are just kind of like, okay.
It's
Boys
like,
will be
let-
boys.
They'll
Let 'em-
wear
let 'em
themselves
be.
out.
Yeah.
And Alex is like, I wish you were on that plane. And then
Right?
I love how Billy is watching the plane like from the window and
Mhm.
just like, man, this sucks. And then the ship blows up
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
like, how did he know?
Yeah.
And then they're all mad at him as if he placed the bomb in the plane.
I know, like, that
That's
was-
just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I didn't understand the motivation of like going after him like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the FBI too. Like, I understand they realized that he had nothing to do with it, and at that
Mhm.
point, like,
Leave the boy alone.
right,
He's
so,
got trauma.
so
Yeah,
much
exactly.
trauma.
Yeah.
So many people. This movie should be called Final Destination: The Wrongdoings of Everybody Else Against Alex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we have the teacher acting like a bitch to him. We
Mhm.
have Carter acting steroid out.
Mhm.
Then Todd's dad acts like
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Alex has freaking the plague.
Yeah.
Like he caused it. And I never understood that. Like I would be like more mad at my own son. Like, why didn't you take your brother with you? You know, to get off
Yes.
the plane.
Yeah.
Why are you mad at this random guy that
Mhm.
saved your other son's life? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it was strange.
I know Todd was probably in shock after everything happened. That boy showed very to little to no remorse about his brother.
Yeah. There was like no crying. There was no nothing. Like he just lost like his brother who clearly very close with.
Right.
And there's nothing. And then like his dad just goes from like, hey boys, have fun in Paris to like, I'm gonna be an alcoholic now.
Yeah.
Like, it
Which
was
I
very-
mean, granted, I understand like you lost your kid, but the vitriol towards Alex and like trying to keep Alex and Todd, you have to imagine that Alex has probably grown up in that house with them,
Mhm.
been there that whole time. Like you would think that he would have some paternal feelings towards him, but to turn on a kid so quickly, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's very
A
strange.
lot of things happen really fast in this movie. We probably need like a Snyder cut version
Yes.
to understand the full plot. Yeah.
Get everybody's motive.
Yeah.
And this is where the FBI show up, and one of the FBI agents' name is Shrek. And I'm like, we just a year before had Shrek come, like, why? Just change the name. Have him remain unnamed. Because that took me out of the movie because I'm like, never in my life have I heard the last name Shrek.
Never.
And I will tell you that till this very moment, I did not know this. I did not hear that at all.
I wish that he had screamed donkey at some point.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been so good. Why are we going after Alex? Well, Alex has a lot of layers, guys.
Yeah.
And that actor, the guy who plays Agent Shrek, was in the other movie we just did not too long ago, East Bayou.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, look at that, full circle.
We do get a news report now that Alex is home, and they're like, there's no known cause for the explosion. So it's just them trying to like pick up their lives after this like tragedy that happens. Then there was a very quick turnaround because I think they said it was like it's been 39 days since the explosion, and they're like debuting this giant bronze eagle statue. I'm like, when did we have time to commission this?
Exactly.
Yeah, right, exactly. It was like the day after. They were like, well, we better build a statue for these people. Like, and we better get it moving quick. And it's gonna be an eagle because they died in a plane.
Yeah, it was weird. It was all so weird.
It didn't.
Maybe
I was
they
like,
got it from like, you know, like a memorial, like
discount store.
Yeah. Like, name your tragedy. We got a statue for every tragedy.
What I think is also super weird is in one of Carter's voided out binges later in the movie, he tries with a pocket knife to carve Terry's name on said eagle.
Yep.
Yeah.
It says she deserved to be on this. Bitch, what are we talking about?
But why? Yeah.
He was in love.
Wow.
Roy in love.
Man.
And then there's some exposition. Someone says, remember to live life to the fullest. And then I believe it was Carter says, I'm never gonna die.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I laughed so hard at that.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then this is when the Alex tries to go talk to Miss Luton, and she's like, "You stay the fuck away from me." Like,
boy.
Yeah.
Stay away from me.
What happened there? I don't know, because she's like,
sorry for saving your life.
Yeah.
She might as well have been wearing garlic, a cross, and had holy water. The way she was treating him like he was a vampire. It was nuts.
Yeah. And then Todd is able to talk to Alex because they're like sitting next to each other because it's a school event. And Todd's like, Dad just doesn't understand. And I hope we can be friends again someday, but not now. And Clear is really the only one that's appreciative of Alex, like saving her life or like.
Who does Claire live with?
Herself.
No one.
Yeah, she's a badass welder and she does everything on her own.
It's weird because when she was in the holding room, everyone's parents came and Claire was like looking at the door as if there was supposed to be someone.
Yeah.
So who's paying the mortgage, paying the bills at this house?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we do get the background that like her dad was killed in a robbery.
Mhm.
Right.
And then her mom just decided she didn't want kids anymore. So I don't know if it's like grandparents took her in but aren't very involved.
Right.
But then it's also she has like that badass welding studio
Mhm.
at her house, and no one's ever at her house
Yeah.
except for her. And
Yeah.
then she also has this cabin in the woods.
I feel
Yeah.
like Claire is deaf.
Maybe
Maybe.
she's selling her artwork. She's got her own business.
She's got
and
an Etsy shop. Yeah.
Maybe her dad died and they buried him in the backyard and they're still getting like checks from, unemployment or something from him. And then the mom bails and she's still getting the money in.
I like it.
I love it.
I love
Yeah.
that you and I are on the same wavelength. We both like to make up these backstories to fill these.
You have to
Holes.
sometimes. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
So
Art is
now-
subjective, guys.
Yes. Oh, those things she welds. I'm
Oh,
like,
boy, I don't know. Yeah.
what is happening here? That is him with the bobbly head.
With the hole in his brain.
It looks like
Broken.
the little logo for categories.
It
That's what
does.
that
Yes.
head is.
Yes. And like when she says to him, she's like, "Do you know what this is?" And he looks at it and goes, "No." It's how you make me feel, Alex. And I remember I said to Mitra as we're watching it, I was like, "That's how he makes her feel."
I just
Like
wanted.
a weird hollow head on a spring.
I
Yeah.
wanted one of them to just slightly press on it and go boing, 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 boing.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
Oh my
So it
god.
just slowly bobs in the background.
Oh man,
Yeah.
this
So
is
now-
a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
So now Todd's in the bathroom and we get a lot of like diversional scares. Like he's got the scissors trimming in his nose hairs.
All right.
Scissors by his nose. I was like, please, I don't remember how he dies. And I do not want it to be like
First
this.
of all, who has a razor like
Thank
that?
you.
Shaving one? Like that's
I
know.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And like
What
how
is-
he was like, I'm gonna shave.
with no
No.
water or shaving.
Maybe not.
I was dying. Like, is this the first time you're shaving? Like, what is this?
Yeah, that was weird.
If he was 12 or 10, this would make sense because you
Yeah.
kind of play and be a grown boy. But like,
Yeah.
you should know how to shave at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. It was weird.
Man, justice for his brother. I don't know how the casting director said we're gonna keep this scrawny piece of shit and not Brendan Fair.
Because Brendan Fair could be just an average Joe kid that's best friends with Alex. Like it didn't have to be someone super like scrawny and nerdy.
Brendan would have
But the
killed it.
question
And
is,
then
does he know how to shave? Because
yes,
maybe we
Bren-
would have avoided this whole situation.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I think Brendan should have played Carter. He would have done better. He
Yes.
was much better, like at that range of angry
Yeah.
I think
but-
even his build suits it better than Kerr
writing
Smith.
letters. Dear James One, it's me, Danielle. And I'd like to say, as many plot holes as you have in your 2000 movie Final Destination, your biggest discrepancy is that you killed a god like Brendan Fair. Love Danielle.
So now Todd's, I don't know, just he's going through his beauty routine and the toilet starts leaking, but it's like blue water.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a whole
First-
discussion about
I was
this.
like, what is that? I said, is that water? Is it toilet cleaner? Like, what
Why is
this?
it blue?
And
He's
why
like,
is
it's
it
gel-like?
yeah.
It's kind of gel.
Yeah, I was like, why is
Yes.
it like goo? Like
And-
it looks like Ghostbusters goo.
Yes.
And why is death petty?
Yeah.
Why is it cleaning up after itself?
Yeah,
Why is
right.
it trying to make it look like a suicide? Like it would have been fine if it was like there was a leak from the toilet. He slipped
Yeah.
and fell. Why all this extra steps? So death is a serial killer now?
I
Yeah.
you know what I would like? I would like death to be just a soundbite of Dave Chappelle as Rick James every time he kills somebody saying, "Gotcha, bitch." Single time. Like as soon as Todd trips and falls and it goes around, you hear, "Gotcha, bitch." I think that would be great.
Well, what's
That's
weird
death.
is like death didn't clean up after itself from the other ones.
Mm-mm.
No.
Why-
Yeah, because you
inconsistent.
needed Todd's dad to hate Alex even more.
Right.
That's why.
To
'Cause
throw
he-
people off that what was happening, maybe.
Yeah.
Like death, you are all knowing. You are bigger than these little peanuts running around.
Yeah.
Why are you cleaning up your goo off the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
It's very weird.
And what was that thing that was around his neck? I usually
like
only
a-
see
It
that.
was a clothesline.
Yeah.
Oh, 'cause
Yeah.
I was
Like, who hangs a clothesline like that in your bathtub? You just hang it over the shower
That's
rod.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be
Who
a
would do that?
respectable adult. Come
Yeah.
on.
His mom and all the many pantyhose.
The
she was
panties that
rocking.
she had.
No.
Who's wearing that many pantyhose?
They
Come on.
are dry clean only pantyhose. Like dry clean only.
Yeah, so
People
this
wear them.
unfortunately is the demise of Todd. The clothesline gets wrapped around his neck, and the bathtub is slippery, and so he can't get his footing to stand up.
It gets
Because
covered in
all-
like shampoo.
All the products in the fucking bathroom
know.
just happened to fall over at the same
Yes.
time.
with no
And
caps on.
explode,
No
and
Yeah.
caps,
explode
yeah.
everywhere.
Like for
We were
God's
watching it, and I
sakes.
was like, I think if he would just calm down for a second, he
Yes.
could probably get
Yeah.
his footing and
Or you know
stand
what?
up.
This is a great PSA, guys. Wear socks at home.
Exactly.
If he had had
Yes.
socks on
I don't
or
know, I think-
hospital slippers,
I think
he would have
socks
been
would have
fine.
been just as slippery. I don't know.
Yeah.
All he had to do was get one foot out of the
Outside the
tub,
tub,
and
yeah.
he could have stood up.
Way too much flailing.
Yes.
I mean, I know he's being choked to death.
I need another fan cut of them with the Santa Claus is coming to town, putting one foot in front of the other song. Like that would be perfect.
He died a
Foot
slow,
in front
slow.
of the other.
Yes, exactly.
He died a slow death like Kmart.
Yeah.
He did. He did. And and another kind of diversionary tactic is he plugs in a radio and it's
I know.
playing John Denver.
Yeah.
Because
It's
people
like,
do that.
how am I going to die?
Yeah.
Is it this
Yeah.
razor? Is it these scissors?
Right.
Is it this plug?
Yeah.
No.
But then it makes you think of like, what are the everyday things that I do that are gonna kill me? Like,
Yes,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like if someone was just watching you get ready for work in the lens of a horror movie, and you're just like,
Ooh.
is this it?
Exactly.
For
God.
me, it's always the rug, baby. I always slip and fall a rug
Yeah.
every
So
time.
that's what I'm saying. Like we have like some hardwood floors here, and I'm walking in my socks. I was carrying a knife, and I was like, I had it like way out to the side because
Yeah, I thought you were
I
a
just-
psycho. For
I
a
know,
minute.
because I was
what is
like, if I
happening?
slip and fall in the socks, I'm gonna like land on the knife. You know, so I'm like carrying the knife out like
That's what happens when you watch Final Destination the night before. Everything becomes a danger.
definitely.
So now we're back at Alex's. He's starting to research a lot of stuff. So he's at his computer, kind of looking at the flight information, researching about explosions.
Yeah.
He's trying to get to the bottom of it. And then an owl appears outside his window and he
Wait,
flails.
but first
oh,
he
yes.
he gets a little horny.
Yes, he does, because he starts thinking about Clear a little bit, and he's like, "Here, this will take my mind off Clear," and pulls out a penthouse.
I said,
So
I was
random.
like, why is he doing this? And then I was like, is this guy about to like jack off? Like, what's
Yeah.
happening right now? And then I'm like, he was about to. Like,
Yes,
who wrote this? Like,
You're a
oh,
teenage boy. What
I
do you
know,
mean?
but
You were a
still-
teenage boy.
yeah, I know, but like,
You're scared.
it's
How are
just-
you going to calm yourself? You're going to have some dopamine
Self-
It was
release.
so weird.
Self-soothing.
weird.
That sounds
Yeah, self-soothing. God.
My
Yeah.
friends died. I need to jack off right now.
Right?
This
Yeah.
one's for Todd.
Pour one out for his homie. Holy crap.
I mean, they
Wow.
pooped together. Maybe
It's
they did other
true.
things together. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Teenage boys are weird. What can we
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
So the owl appears. He throws his magazine, and he has like the oldest fan I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like the fan from Carousel of Progress when they first get electricity.
Oh my God. Yeah. It does.
And
Disney
appa-
reference.
Yeah.
So when the very old fan chops up the
The
magazine,
mouse.
and this is happening while Todd is being choked to death.
So he wasn't rubbing one out for Todd because it hadn't
He
happened.
wasn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yes. The piece of paper that lands right in front of him, the little scrap, says Todd on it. And so he's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, he's next. And he also has like these, I think it's just conveyed in like spooky wind, but there's always like this, hey, shit's about to go down
Yes.
type
Yeah.
thing that happens. So he's trying to get to Todd's house. And by the time he gets there, not only is like EMS, firefighters, everyone's there, but Todd's already in a body bag. So they've already like looked at the crime scene, taken evidence, and removed
Yeah.
the body. Like, how
The
far away
coroner,
does
yeah.
Alex live?
Yeah.
Also, his
I'm-
reaction to it is crazy. He's like, "Oh shit, is he dead?"
Maybe.
No, he's fine. We put him in the body bag to keep him safe.
Yeah.
This part,
Yeah,
when I tell you I had to press pause and I could not stop laughing
so bad.
because Claire is behind a
I
tree.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
Alex, get out of here. Bitch, why are you here?
You know what?
Did she get a message too? Why
Yeah.
did she know to be there?
I don't know. It's very weird.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
I was dying. It
Yeah.
felt like Scary Movie.
Oh.
Yes.
Like it felt like a parody at this point. Like, why are you here
Yeah.
hiding behind a tree? And
Yeah.
then when Alex looks back at her again, bitch is gone. What's
Yeah.
happening?
She was
Maybe-
just hiding behind the tree.
You know what? Maybe your theory about her being deaf is correct.
Yeah.
Maybe she is deaf.
Yeah.
So
She
it's
just
like,
favors Alex.
That's right.
so pretty much Claire is Death and Alex is Deadpool
Okay.
Okay.
because Death is in love with Deadpool.
Mhm.
And there you
Right.
go.
That's true. And after a encounter, Deadpool also liked to go home and rub one out. So
He
Yes.
that
Yes.
does make
Very
sense.
much so.
Yes.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, I think we cracked the code here, guys.
I'm sorry. I could watch that scene over and over again and die laughing because
It's funny because it's not supposed to be funny. Like that's the
No.
whole thing, right? It's supposed to
Yeah.
be like creepy and weird, and it's just like so silly.
I
there's
know.
just literally no reason for her to be in this scene.
Nope.
There isn't.
None.
Unless
None.
she heard the sirens and she ran over there.
But
But
she lives
still,
in the middle
why
of
would
the
she do-
woods. Yeah, there's
I
no
don't
way.
know. I don't know
There's
why
no
she
way.
would be there.
Nope. Mitra, if you could describe our show in one word, what would it be?
Unrefined.
That's the name of our podcast. So
I
that's
know.
perfect. I'm BJ and that's Mitra, and we have a podcast called Unrefined. Why don't you tell the people what it's about, Mitra?
It's about paranormal, conspiracies, and just random silliness sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Random silliness is what we do best. But for real, guys, we do like to talk about the paranormal, creepy, spooky things that go bump in the night. Plus, we like to get into some conspiracies every once in a while as well.
We have new episodes premiering every Monday and Wednesday, and special strange stories on Friday.
You can get those episodes wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Catch us on Paranormal TV Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern.
I think that just about sums it up. Do you think that that's the kind of promo that Danielle and Jackie wanted?
They get what they get.
That's true. You guys have fun with this.
I feel like Claire has, her last name is Clear Rivers, like Clear. So I would say, okay, maybe her parents were hippies and maybe she is in the occult and that's why she like kind of believes Alex. She knows what's going on.
Mhm.
She was doing some ritual out in the woods and realized things were coming
Mm.
because that would make more sense than bitch just out there for no reason.
Yeah, because they never explain that ever.
No.
Throughout the
Never.
entire movie.
And they don't explain later how Claire ends up having similar abilities to Alex.
Mhm.
Right.
Maybe because she's a clairvoyant. I don't
No.
know.
Don't even.
She's definitely an empath. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what makes her go to Todd's house because she does tell us later she feels what Alex feels.
Well, maybe she was feeling what he was feeling and getting some message about Todd. So maybe she just happened to show up at the same time as
They
him.
both showed up late as hell though, so like
Yeah.
message not received.
Maybe the message came in late.
Yeah.
Maybe
right.
she was about to get down to business too at the
Yeah.
same time.
They were having the same thought. They were mind melding.
Yeah.
Really mind melding.
Yeah.
She was about to turn the vibrator on. Todd's in danger.
It's like, we about to do, oh, wait, Todd.
We know she likes power tools, so she's
Yes,
like working them.
True.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Todd's dad is just raging at this point, and he's taking all his anger out on Alex. And Alex is like, I just tried to get here to help. And his dad's like, he killed himself because he couldn't live with the guilt, and it's all your fault. And Alex is like, why would he make plans with me if he was going to kill himself? Doesn't make sense. And so that's when Alex starts kind of realizing like it might be something larger than like just an accident.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the next day he goes and to Clear's workshop, and that's when we get the
bobblehead.
bobblehead.
We get the bobblehead in the speech that like, because he asked her like, why did you get off the plane?
Right.
And she's like, because I can feel what you feel, baby.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he like, doesn't even show any, like, there's no attraction whatsoever
None.
happening in these scenes, and she's just like playing out this
Yeah.
narrative
I
in
mean,
her
this seems
head.
typical as a teenage girl, and she's like, I love him. And the guy's like, nope de doo.
Yeah.
That's true. And yes.
And this is when Alex kind of starts putting together like, what if Todd was the first and like we're gonna start to die? And he says, I want to see him one more time. And Clear's like, cool, let's
I know.
Very
I'll
weird.
go with you to break into the funeral home to
From
look at your
the
best
roof.
friend.
Let's
Yeah.
drop in from the roof.
Yeah,
Mission
like-
Yes.
Impossible style.
I know. That was so
Like, let's not even try to go through the front door.
it was so
Right.
stupid.
And why does Claire seem like she's done this before?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a bad
Like-
girl.
So,
So
and then,
But then go ahead, Danielle.
the only thing that made sense in this whole fucking movie is that Candyman shows up.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's just like lying in wait in the corner. They're over there having a conversation in front of Todd, which they're not even reacting to. That's his best friend.
Yeah.
laying
Right.
there, and he has like no reaction, no like, oh my God, crying, like he's not stunned to see him or anything.
Yeah, he
And
just
then
makes
the
a joke
candy
about him looking
Man
at
comes out of like the dark. Like he was there the whole
Yes.
time,
Like,
just like
I've been waiting for
Yeah.
you.
But man, do I love Tony Todd so
Yes.
much. His
Oh,
voice
he's
is
so
so
good.
iconic and great.
Well, that's one of the reasons they wanted to hire him for the movie, was because not just because he played Candyman, obviously,
Yeah.
but his voice, they just knew that he would almost be like the personification of death. Perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so
that's
there's
like the fan theories is that he
Yes.
actually is death.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get some really, really good exposition in that voice. The first thing he says is, shh, you'll wake the dead.
Yeah.
Because doesn't Alex's body, like his hand or something, moves, and that's
Mhm.
not Alex Todd's
Yeah.
dead body moves, and that's what throws them off. Yeah.
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 Creepy.
And then Alex does go and look at Todd's body. He's like, why are there like scratch marks around his neck? Like he was trying to get, he's like, I don't think this was intentional. Although, I mean, you could set something up and then like immediately say
Yeah.
abort mission.
I
Yeah.
think it's probably, I would almost think that might be a reaction to grab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Even if you wanted to go through
Yeah.
with it, it's probably just your natural reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Candyman also says, in death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no mistakes. And so then this is when Alex is kind of figuring out it's all by design. And if we can figure out death's design on the plane, then we might be able to cheat death.
Mhm.
Yeah, he sees on a news report there is a diagram of how the fuel fire or whatever the electrical fire started and the design of how it hit. And Alex happens to have paper nearby to trace. Like when
Yeah.
those news things happen, it goes so quick. So the fact that he had time to like trace that all out and be able to kind of follow from where it was blowing up in that order is where how people were supposed to die first.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
where he figures it out.
Yeah. And so the next day they're at like a cafe or something, and he sees a bus in the reflection of a window, and there's no bus that drives by. He just sees it. And then Carter shows up. Danielle, what kind of car was he driving?
A Mustang.
I thought it was
Oh, it's wait.
SS.
It's a
Chevy.
Camaro?
Was
Is
it
it
a
a
Chevy
Camaro?
SS? A black SS?
Yeah, it was a Chevy Nova SS,
Oh, shit.
1971.
Ooh.
I was close.
I mean, you
By
named
brand and
a
stuff.
car.
I did. You should be proud of me. I didn't say black.
This is true. This is really true.
And I probably should know since I did the note.
So Carter is just erratic. He's like doing spin outs in the middle of the street. He goes, poor Billy knocks him off his bike. And I love when he's like, Carter, you dick. And I'm like, I love those throwaway lines.
They did not use Sean William Scott's abilities to the best that they could. Like he has everybody in this movie had more range than whatever the hell they were given.
But did we know about Sean William Scott yet? Or was this one
this
of
was
his...
after American
Was this?
Pie.
I was gonna say this was after American Pie, right? American Pie was 99.
Yes, this is after American Pie.
Then that makes no damn sense.
No.
I thought like if it was like an early, like prior to American Pie, like he was just
telling you every single person that was hired in this movie was after their big debuts in other movies. Like Ali Larter, this was after Varsity Blues. Kerr Smith was already on Dawson's Creek. Brendan Farr was already on Roswell. Yeah, like none of this makes any sense. Sean William
They just took a bunch of familiar people and put them into role and just like shoehorn them into roles, it feels like.
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder when these movies were shot.
Yeah, like maybe they were shot before the other ones were released.
Yeah, because American Pie was 99 and Final Destination was 2000. So, I mean, we probably didn't know the range of Sean William Scott because like it was less than a year later than that Final Destination came out.
True.
Anyway.
That's true. And also when Carter like is just like weirdly hitting on the French teacher too, who's at this same coffee shop.
Yeah.
Right? Like he was hitting on her. Correct?
Yeah, there was a weirdness there.
That, let me tell you, I got the most joy watching that bitch die. And I feel like Carter's death could have been longer too.
Yeah.
Because I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see the girlfriend and Carter get into a huge fight. And she's like, this is not Death's design. She's a denier. And so she's like, fuck y'all, I'm going home, and turns around in the middle of a crosswalk to yell at them some more and just gets taken out by a bus.
Which just seems so ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
When you hear it coming.
Correct.
Why is it flying down?
Yeah, why is that bus going 100 miles an hour?
It's so abrupt and it's just so like it's so shocking. I remember it like it shocked me when I've seen it a million times and it shocked me again every time I see something like that. It's just so shocking, you know?
Well, it's good to know that every person that died in this movie got a cast of themselves so that like when they were getting killed, it wasn't like that scene of her getting smooshed or whatever wasn't her. I mean, obviously we know it wasn't her, but it was just interesting that they had to make cast of every single person that was going to die.
Crazy.
It is.
Then there's this weird scene where both Alex and Clear are drinking glasses full of Alka-Seltzer. Like they got upset tummies are the least of their problems at this point.
Well, that actually was added after they were doing the test screenings. The people who were watching the movie complained that they needed something to like calm them down after the scary bus scene. So that's why they added the Alka-Seltzer.
How does Alka-Seltzer calm you down?
I don't know, but seeing the bubbles, some people are like,
That's hilarious.
Would have been better if they were like sitting like, you know, crisscross applesauce, drinking some chamomile tea. Maybe doing some crack. Yeah, they need to settle down. Yeah. I was gonna say
this will calm my nerves.
Yeah.
And Clear is trying to call Alex. Alex is not answering calls at the moment.
No.
And then this is when we get the news story about like the theory of how it's exploding. And so now Alex has enough data with Todd's death and the girlfriend's death that he is able to see like, oh, we're dying in the order that we were supposed to die on the plane.
Yeah.
And so he figures out Miss Luton's next. She's packing because she needs to start her life over. She has this really long, drawn out,
Yeah.
poorly acted phone conversation.
The worst.
So funny enough, that actress is the wife of one of the writers in the movie.
Hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
So let's just say I haven't seen her in another movie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I'm just gonna throw it
Yeah.
out there.
So I guess her husband didn't write anything else.
Haven't seen her.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
No,
bad though. That scene was really
Yeah.
poorly done.
So bad. When that knife fell into her, I was like, that's right.
My God.
That whole death. I'd like every single death. I think I'm like, this is the stupidest death. But then
Yeah.
hers is like, this is like Wile E. Coyote style.
Yeah.
Like going after the road. Like that's like what that was so Acme. It was so crazy.
Yes, it was.
Over the top. Like, she keeps like walking and sliding. I don't know, what was it? Alcohol? It could
Yeah.
have
It
been
was
lighter
vodka.
fluid or
Yeah.
something at that
Yeah.
point.
Ridiculous.
I'm like, is this bitch dying from burning to death, or then she gets stabbed?
Yeah.
She was not escaping this one.
No,
No.
they made sure of that.
Yeah.
My favorite part though was like, okay, so she heats up water for tea, pours it in the mug so the mug is warm, decides, no, that's a bad idea, that's dangerous. So then she pours vodka into it and the mug splits at the bottom, which a ceramic mug does not
No.
split that
No.
way ever in
Yeah,
a
no.
million years.
Nope.
And then she's carrying it, sipping it, but not notice she's leaving a trail of alcohol in her wake.
Yeah.
Now she's unplugging her computer and dripping into
Yeah.
the monitor.
Yeah.
The monitor explodes and she gets a fucking piece of the screen to the neck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she pulls it out. Everyone
Yes.
knows there's an
You
artery
don't.
there, bitch.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a teacher,
Nobody pulls
for
it out.
God's sake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
a
then
French teacher.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then
Made out of
so
milk.
this is true. She was definitely not home ec.
Yeah.
So then it's like the computer lights the vodka trail back to the kitchen. She's left the pilot light on for some, or like
Right,
left the
yeah.
gas on for some reason.
Yeah.
She's trying to find a rag. She pulls it down. She gets stabbed. Like
Oh
the
yeah, the vodka
Soviet-
bottle blows up, right?
Series of
Yes.
unfortunate events.
Yeah, that was all that was. In the meantime, like the FBI shows up because she sees Alex outside of her house, and it's like, I gotta go.
Alex was fucking stupid at this point as
That
well.
was
Yeah.
the sketchiest shit I've ever
Yes.
seen.
And he's
What are you
like, I'm
doing
just
here? I was
I'm
just
just
checking the
checking the
tires to
tires.
see if
God.
you're safe. Who says
At
that?
that
And-
point, who would think he's not guilty?
Right?
He was
Right.
like Smeagol, like in
Yeah.
the ring.
Why
Like,
didn't
that's what
she
was
just
going
go
on there.
outside and say, bitch, get off my property, get out of
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
She's hiding
Yeah.
behind the curtains, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you need to come.
Yeah. It was just a really weird chain of events right
The
there.
kid who
It is-
saved me from the airplane is in my front yard.
Yes. So, oh, and just some light music while she's packing. She puts on John Denver because it was Mama's
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
She is going home now.
That's
So-
true. Yeah.
And then Alex runs in to try and save her. She's still alive with like the slashed artery in her neck
Mhm.
and the butcher knife in her chest.
Yeah.
And then the stove explodes and knocks over a chair that pushes the knife all the way down. And she's
Die,
finally
bitch.
dead.
Like,
Right?
Yeah.
And Alex's stupid ass,
I
stupid.
know.
He's so fucking
I
stupid.
know.
Yeah.
Walks in the blood.
Yep.
I know.
I'm gonna walk in the blood, and then I'm gonna pick up the goddamn butcher knife and put all my fingerprints on it, and then realize, you know what? I got to get out of here because
Yeah.
bitch
Yeah.
is dead, and this house is gonna explode.
Right.
And then he just runs past Billy, who just happens to be
know.
a midnight
He's just
stroll.
everywhere at all the time, everywhere.
He's gonna be bike riding. You should have
loves his bike.
trauma. Y'all should be in
Yes.
therapy. What is happening?
I
right
mean,
now?
maybe that is his therapy to just get out and like get exercise.
Every time
It's
he's on
just
that
the way he
goddamn bike, he
treated
gets
him.
thrown off of it. Why are you going back on there?
I know. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, it's just so.
I mean, all the evidence was ruined in the explosion anyway.
That's
right?
true. So nobody had to figure that out.
No,
Yeah.
they
But
did.
it was
They
just like-
find out later. That's why they look for Alex, because Billy's like, dude, the blood crystallized and they've got your prints, man.
Oh my God.
You think they can, if the house is that badly burned or exposed,
Yeah.
can they still find prints on things?
I
know.
don't
know.
know.
Who knows?
I don't know if they have a science consultant on this particular.
Yeah.
They
Film.
use the X-Files team.
Yeah, right. God, yeah, man.
So the FBI goes and talks to Clear, and they're kind of like, stay away from Alex. Like, they just are like, this
Yeah.
is not good for you.
She's like, that's my baby daddy.
I know, right?
Do.
So
But
then
no, Daddy, I love him.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then she calls a secret meeting at the monument of all of the survivors.
Yeah.
Like the
I'm a
fucking Midnight Society.
survivor.
Yeah.
It's the Midnight Society.
Yeah.
And so they all show up. This is when Carter is like trying to carve. Is it Terry's name?
Terry,
into the-
yes,
yeah.
Terry,
She
yes.
deserves to be here. At first I didn't know it was the monument, and I thought they were at, like, you know, when you come into a small town and it's like the population numbers.
Mhm.
I thought that's what he was
Yeah.
trying to scratch, because now his teacher lover is dead.
Yeah.
But then I realized it was the monument. I was like, this fucking idiot.
Yeah, he is a moron. This
dumb.
whole movie. Because then you
Dumb,
get the
dumb,
driving
dumb.
scene after that, which is even crazier.
The worst.
I was like, let him die, Jesus. Please
I
let this
know.
movie be over.
Just puts his hands up. He's like, I'm not gonna be next. Woo! Like, what in the hell is going on with that?
I choose
So-
my own destiny.
Yeah.
He's such an idiot. So they decide we're going to go get Alex and we're going to go to the crash site
Yeah.
Yeah.
to look for evidence of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't mention about, like, the whole crash scene, the writer of this movie was inspired by an actual crash that had happened.
Mhm.
No, he was inspired by a girl who didn't go on her flight because her mom called her like the day before and said, I believe that you should, like, don't go on that flight. That's what happens. And she tells the story. And so he heard that story and decided to, like, that's what spurred him writing first episode or then the movie.
Yeah.
Then it was also loosely based on a real life crash of the TWA. So I guess it was that flight.
Oh, Flight
TWA.
800. Okay,
we
yeah.
actually did a show on that.
That one took off from JFK. Yeah, that's
and
true.
it exploded like
Yup.
very soon after takeoff.
Yeah, look up the conspiracies on that one, guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Gotta definitely will, because
Mhm.
now I'm intrigued.
You will like
But they used the stock footage from that tragedy, that plane
my
flight,
God.
in this goddamn movie.
That-
It's horrible.
Okay,
Many
so-
Of them when they're picking up like the luggage out of the water and things like that. Was that from?
I
Oh,
think
wow.
so. And
wow,
so
how that's kind of
Super
insensitive.
insensitive.
very
because that was
insensitive.
very soon after that. That was
Yeah.
very soon after.
Wow.
4 years later.
Yeah.
So many critics, including our boy Lil Raj, felt the inclusion of the real life plane crash footage was just a bit tasteless. That was putting it nicely.
Yeah.
I would have sued them. Just
Yeah.
like
And
Yeah.
as
emotional
like, yeah.
damage.
For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
The fact that it was a French, I mean, it was because it's the same thing. It was a high school French class going to France. It was like the
Yeah.
same setup. It's
God,
terrible.
it would be like including like 9/11 footage in like Avengers when the city's being attacked. It's
Yeah.
like
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up.
So the next scene is they start blaming Alex for Miss Luton's death. And then they're like, wait a minute, did you know she was going to be the next one? Is that why you were there? And so Alex said yes, and kind of explains his theory. And Carter fucking spirals.
Yep.
And he's just going 100 miles an hour down this like dark dirt road. Everyone's yelling at him to slow down. He doesn't give a shit. And they keep telling him to stop. And Alex does see a reflection of a train in the window of the car. And so he knows that it's going to have something to do with the train. And so he's trying to get Carter to stop. Carter finally stops, but he stops on the train tracks.
Like a fucking moron.
So
Alex
good.
also has a vision of a broken seatbelt,
Mhm.
but when he looks down again, his seatbelt is working. So
Yeah.
he's like putting the pieces together, because I don't think before this point he actually was understanding that he was seeing clues and like they meant something.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But yeah, this Egypt fucking Carter on the train. This is one of my biggest fears, to be on a goddamn train track
Yes.
by accident. Not
Absolutely.
even the
Yeah.
audacity.
Mhm.
And of course, guess what? A train is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, and it's a 2-door car. So
Yeah.
one of the people in the front seat has to get out in
Billy
order for
is.
Clear to and Alex to get out of the back. So they're like shaking Billy's seat because they know like Carter's ride or dying on these train
Yeah.
tracks. And so the three of them get out, and then Carter thinks he's just gonna be all slick and like start the car and probably ditch them in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere on a train
Mhm.
track. But now the car won't start. His seatbelt won't unlatch. And Alex, because he had that premonition, is like pulling Carter as hard as he can. And at the last minute, gets him out of the car. And they're all kind of standing around processing what just happened. And the momentum from the train whips up a license plate.
Yeah.
And Billy has no head.
Decapitation. And
But like before he dies, he's like, "You're dead. You're dead. You're
Yeah.
dead."
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my reenactment.
And how did Alex even pull him out of that window that quick
Yes.
with the
Oh,
train
no.
coming?
Yeah.
Like that was ridiculous. That was
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Beyond belief.
So
Yeah.
stupid.
He
So
lost his
then,
legs or something. Something would have hit.
yes.
When before Billy gets his head cut off and after everything, this is like one of the first instances of Claire calling Alex baby. Okay.
Yeah.
I started to like track it after this because I'm like, where, when, how, why, who, what?
Right. All of a sudden, the Law and Order music started going off. in
Yeah.
your head. Yeah. Gotta solve those crimes.
So now Alex is like, I'm next. So I need to protect myself as much as possible. Clear puts him up in her dad's log cabin
Yeah.
in the woods. He's got like like gloves on, is
I know.
eating the grossest can of like chicken.
Guys, she loves that chicken shit.
First off, the minute I saw that he had it, because like I mean, I haven't watched the movie in forever. I was like, because I had told him before, I was like, because sometimes we'll be like, you got to try this. So I've
Oh
gotten
my
him to
God.
try random weird things like Vienna sausage and stuff. So I got him to try the canned devil's chicken or whatever.
Yeah.
And you liked it. You were like, oh, this is pretty good. It's
Yeah.
super salty. It's definitely cat food. I love it. And like I saw him walking on the screen and I was like, he's got the chicken. He's got the can of chicken.
Yeah.
So at this moment, Mitra very much relates.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure. If you're gonna die, have a delicious can of cat food.
But what I think is hilarious that he thinks he's secured everything. Bitch, you
Like
can
he-
choke on food.
Mhm.
You
He
can
like
get
booby
food
trapped
poisoning.
himself, I think, in the house. I was like,
Yeah.
he's just creating a booby trap for himself.
Yeah, like that
He's home
can
alone
is
in that
sharp.
house. Pretty good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did do a good job, except for all the fishing poles and the fish hooks.
Yeah.
He picked up that fish hook, and my entire body. I have a phobia of fish hooks, and I was just like, "Oh God, I don't like it." Like the entire movie, I'm like, whatever. Billy got decapitated by a license plate. They pick up
Yeah.
a single fish hook, and I'm like, "Ugh."
There's certain things that just set you off. That's just one of those things.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
For me, it's when they pull fingernails off in
Yeah.
horror movies.
Yeah.
That I'm like, yeah, do it. I
But
hold
she
my
loves-
knuckles like this.
Yeah.
She loves to hear the bones crack,
I
though.
do. And so I was very disappointed there was no bone cracking in this movie.
No
Oh,
bone
man.
cracking.
I
in
would've
Have
this.
you guys
loved-
done Dante's Peak yet? If you do
Not
Dante's
yet.
Peak, you've got to, because that's got a great bone cracking shooting out the legs.
Ooh,
Ooh.
nice. I like to hear the bones crack.
Yeah.
So while Alex is in his den of solitude, he sees a newspaper article about the two girls, like their parents are starting a like scholarship fund or whatever. But it's the two girls that asked him to move, and he was like, wait a minute, like I was in a different seat.
Yeah.
So it's not me, it's Clear that's next, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's
It's
like,
clear
I gotta
that-
get to my girl, yo.
At least he picked up a newspaper this time and not a penthouse in his moment of whatever.
Exactly.
So.
Yes. Meanwhile, at Clear's house, a transistor blows from the power line. A line is now dangling and just sparking and arcing all over the place.
Yeah.
And she does what every white person does in a movie, which is my dog's in trouble
Yeah.
I know.
and I'm gonna put my life in danger.
I was real proud of her for taking that dog off that leash. Real proud.
That's a realistic thing.
Yeah.
That's what we would do.
I know, that's why
There's
I'm
a
like,
whole show, that's the premise of it,
I
right?
would've been
This
like,
is us. It goes
"Why
back
don't
in
get your
to save
ass
the
in this
dog,
house?"
right?
Stop playing with that.
Anytime there's a horror movie or anything, that is like my main concern. I'm like, what about the dog? What is happening to the dog?
Yes.
Do not show anything happen to the dog.
And
Oh my God.
okay, Alex is canoeing across the lake.
I know.
Here.
I know.
Tell me this scene didn't give you
Oh.
idle hands though. This
Yes.
scene made me feel like this was straight out of Idle Hands.
Yeah.
And the way these FBI agents are so
know.
fucking horrible at their job.
Well,
They
we
like-
lost them, guys.
I know. It was funny because BJ goes, "What is with this music?" And this is the most over-the-top dramatic music on a getaway on a canoe.
Like the
Yeah.
slowest paddling away. Like they could have run in the water after.
yes, they could have
Right.
gotten quicker than he got away.
Maybe
like he
they're
was, like,
gremlins
barely-
and they can't go into the water.
Yeah. It was like he was barely in there. Like
Where
he's
was
still
he
pushing the
connected
canoe
to?
off,
I
and the
don't even
guy's like,
understand.
I don't know.
The other side of the lake.
That's his getaway canoe.
And then they were like, get in the car, let's go to the other side. Like, what is happening? Come on now.
Yeah.
So, and then meanwhile, Clear is lighting so many candles in the house.
Yeah.
Why? You know death is coming. Why?
Well, we already know her character, so you know why.
And then, like, Alex has gotten to the other side of the lake. He's running through the woods,
Mhm.
trips and falls, almost gets impaled by a
Right.
pointy stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, meanwhile, Clear is outside in her yard. The pool is punctured because she just has like an above ground doughboy. There's water everywhere. The wire's still dangling. And then Alex, a tree gets hit by lightning,
Yeah.
falls. Alex almost makes it out, but he's at like the very top of the tree and it's forcing his face underwater. The
Yeah.
FBI agents are like hot on his trail, but can't see him because he's under a fucking tree.
Because this is a Looney Tunes cartoon for adults.
Yes. And he finally, at the last second, has the energy to roll 2 feet sideways away from the puddle that his face was submerged in. Clear is trying to get back in her house by climbing the trellis.
Yeah.
That's what she likes to do. Get on the road.
She's hanging from the gutter, and then she has to break her own window to get back into her bedroom. Everything is just, every single electronic in this house is now just exploding
Right.
because that's how electricity works.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like was so bizarro.
Yes.
So weird.
Yeah.
And then what does Claire do? She goes in the garage and gets in the car. and
Right. Tries to turn on the electric garage door opener. Like I was like, what is she doing? Like it's electricity
Well,
and it's
you know-
out.
That's almost realistic because you know, like when your power goes out and you go and you flip on the lights, you're like, damn it. And then
Right.
like 5 minutes later, you go do it again. You're like, damn it.
It is habit.
Yes, I
But this
get
had to be the most frustrating garage scene in a horror film since Scream for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, none of this is adding up.
it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she just decides to back out and like bust the garage door. But then the garage door opener falls and like pins the car halfway in the garage. And then a can of gas falls. And then Alex gets there and he's like, stay in the car because it's grounded. because the tires are rubber. So
Yeah.
as long as you're not touching anything metal, you're insulated at least.
Right.
And now the power line is just,
It's almost like it's alive at this point. Like,
yeah.
it is looking for this bitch.
Yes.
You know?
The gas is now running out of the garage. Somehow this like container of oxygen or something,
Yeah.
it's like wedged under the car. The gas is like heading there, and Alex is like, this car is gonna explode. We have to figure this out. And so then he gets the brilliant idea, I'm gonna grab the cable.
Yeah. He's gonna wrestle it.
Like he's Pecos Bill or something. He's gonna grab this cable and just hang on for dear life so Clear can get out of the car. So, and this is when we get another baby, is because like he grabs it, she gets out, he's not breathing, and she's like, come on, baby.
Don't do this to me, baby.
I want that whole scene recut, but I want it with the Chad Kroger hero from Spider-Man. That's what I want. And like when that big and they say a hero can save us part comes in, it's when he grabs hold of the thing and he's wrestling with it. Like that's what I want. Gosh.
And then the FBI shows up and they're like, he's not breathing, and then it fades to white.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the FBI, they get there when Claire like jumps out of the car.
Yeah.
And you could see that she's getting up to go try to help Alex.
Mm-hmm.
And these idiots, they both go, oh, and like fall trying to catch her.
Yeah.
She was right there. And there's two of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Almost gotcha.
Almost.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because it was only a 6-month recovery from almost dying multiple times and the trauma of like witnessing multiple people die and knowing that you're going to be on an airplane that exploded and like all of the people around you. It's fine. 6 months later, we're ready to get on an airplane and go to Paris.
That's right.
It's insane.
Yeah, we push on. We move forward.
Never be flying again.
No, never.
And really, the thing I would be most worried about is traveling with Carter.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Like, I don't want you here, especially on like a lovely romantic Parisian vacation with my girlfriend.
Yeah, with your girlfriend, that she probably just forced her way into that.
Well, maybe it's also to keep an eye on the situation. Like you want to have him with you at all times.
It's
If
true.
he does die and you know, okay, that we're starting this again. It's it's yours and then me.
Why is Carter all of a sudden like super good friends with them though?
Yes.
Right?
They're the only ones who like
He
understand.
went to therapy for that 6 months. He's healed, he recovered, he talked it out.
It was very bizarre.
Yeah.
It was very bizarre.
And they do say, oh, they're sitting at a cafe outside. They toast. They say like, we're the only ones who understand.
Mm-hmm.
But then Carter starts getting mouthies like, we beat it, we won.
Yeah.
Taunting death.
And then Alex starts kind of thinking about it. I think he just like pushed it out of his mind, like, okay, we beat death, we don't have to think about this anymore. But then he's like, the seating chart though, like the math's not mathin' for Alex. And Clear's like, maybe we were meant to live all along, maybe we would have been the survivors on the airplane. She's trying to like give him some hope that it's over.
Being so negative, Alex.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes.
Come on, baby. We don't need to.
Stop manifesting death for everybody.
Yeah.
And then he hears a French rendition of John Denver being played outside the cafe, and then the warning wind happens. And
I still think it would have been better if it was La Bamba. I mean, if you're gonna pick a plane crash song, why not?
Yeah.
well, and like at least you get a little joy, like, hey, this is a groovy song. Oh shit, wait.
Yeah,
And
right.
like,
Patsy Cline would have been the best.
Oh my God, yeah.
Crazy. Just
Yeah.
like the whole movie.
so good.
Much
been
better
good.
choice.
And then a glass of wine spills and it like highlights Alex's spot on the diagram because he carries that with him.
Alex gets
Yeah.
up and starts walking away from the table. And of course, you know, Claire's like, where are you going? Where are you going? He's like, stay there, stay there, stay there. She's like, but baby, please.
Yeah.
And then
He had a vision though of the bus.
Yes.
He does.
He does.
He does. And then, but then she has a vision as he's walking, and she's like, ah! And he pulls himself from getting.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it? What's his face?
Carter
saves
tackles
him.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when Carter starts talking smack about, like, you know, we're all in the clear. I don't know. But then the freaking like marquee sign or whatever falls down and just like get him good. Got him real good.
It's amazing because it's like the bus hits a pole, which like knocks loose this sign. And it's like one of those giant like Las Vegas signs with lots of lights on it. And it like pendulum swings and just like takes out Carter.
Yeah.
And as it swings down and it's now upside down, you see 180 on it. And that was the flight number from the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I missed
Coming
that.
back to get you.
Okay.
Could you imagine?
Well, and it did a 180.
Yeah.
It did.
Came back around.
They do a 180.
God.
Could you imagine being Kerr Smith, reading this script and being like, man, I'm gonna make it. Look,
Wow.
we're
I
at
can
the
do the
end.
sequel.
I'm gonna do the sequel. Oh, damn, man.
So, like, so if it was this like a contingency plan on the bus, like the death. So if we weren't going to get Alex, we're going to slam into the pole. The sign's going to fall and come and get Carter. Or maybe was that going to be like a 2-for-1? Like we're also going to hit Alex. We're going to hit the pole and then swing and get. And then it's, what do you think? I don't know.
I feel
Could
like
be.
death is petty and death is always plotting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It got plans on plans.
yes.
That's true. And at least there was no weird water goo. So, I mean, that was a plus.
It's true.
Yes. It was giving Alex Mac vibes. 100%.
It was.
Oh, yes.
Well,
I'll show you
that
that.
is that is Final Destination.
Yay, we did it, y'all.
We did.
Any fun facts that we want to highlight that we missed?
Several characters are named after famous horror film directors, actors, and producers. So Billy Hitchcock is named after Alfred Hitchcock. Browning family and Todd Wagner are named after Todd Browning. And George Wagner is directly named after Universal horror film producer George Wagner.
Interesting. The character of Billy. So the way that they described Billy's character was like a loner and kind of been picked on a long time. I think they changed the script or changed the character a bit because of Sean William Scott. He was originally supposed to be fat. So to me, that is like a red flag. Like, how is that a characteristic of the character? Like,
True.
Even if you describe him as fat, like what attributes were you adding that you had to go rewrite?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Well, it would have been hilarious if like the fat guy was taking a poop and he couldn't get out of the toilet. That's
Right.
Exactly.
so funny.
ugh, can't stand it. Can't stand it. Claire's cabin was the same one in British Columbia that was in like the movie Lake Placid. So,
Oh, I
oh,
love
yeah.
that movie.
Interesting.
Before we get our ratings, why don't you guys tell our audience how to find you on social so they can listen to your podcast and follow along on your social?
All right. Well, if you want to follow us over on Instagram, you can follow us at The Unrefined Pod, and we post daily content there. Really, all the episode information is there too. We try to stay active in reels. But people message us, we try to get back to them and everything. So Instagram is the best place to follow us. Plus, you can get to all of our links right there in the bio to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to follow us on TikTok as well, but Unrefined Pod on Instagram is the
What
best
do you
way to
say?
get us.
Unrefined Pod is podcast.
Well, I've been giving the wrong Instagram handle for close to 2 years now.
Don't worry.
If you unrefined podcast.
Oh, maybe it is. Well, anyway,
I don't know what you're saying.
Unrefined Podcast. And it's
There we go.
What are you saying, Todd? I've never
I have
heard you say
no
pod before.
idea.
Watching that movie just made you confused.
I'm really good at promoting.
And don't forget to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at No More Late Fees. And let's dive into these present day ratings. BJ, we're going to start with you.
Present day rating for me, I think I would go with a 2-day rental on this one, because I don't think the movie is trash, but I think that I would watch it now more for 1, nostalgia, and 2, it's just like so laughably bad at times that's why I think I may rewatch it at some point, but really a 2-day rental at best. It's hard to recommend it to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do 2-day as well. Probably because like once you watch it and then you go back and think of all the things that didn't make sense, like how my brain works, I'd be like, I need to go watch it again to make sure, like, did I see that right? Was that correct? I want to make sure it all lined up right in my head. So definitely would do that 2-day.
Jackie?
Same. I'm giving it a 2-day. And I was like, this was like the peak of horror movie. Like, this is all anyone could talk about.
Right.
It was the most amazing movie ever. And then I was like rewatching, and I'm like, what were we thinking? Like,
No.
It just falls into that category of a movie that you used to love.
Yes.
Now you're like, what?
But it was like a new concept, because we were talking about there's no villain. Death is the villain. So there's nobody you can really escape from. It's not Jason with, in a hockey mask. It's like something that you can't see. So that's scary.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I'm definitely giving it a 2-day as well, because I still have the nostalgia. There's a ton of people in the cast that I like. The concept was very interesting, and I think it spurred other movies, because I think Butterfly Effect is kind of similar. And even when we think of like the MCU and stuff, when you think of like parallel universes and kind of stuff like that, because they do talk about that. They talk about like an existence where nobody died or the plane didn't crash. And so it really does get you thinking about stuff. At that time, it was a very new concept. So I give it that. And we got to love our boy Devon. So 2 days.
100%. Well, if you have an opinion, want to give our feedback, what you like, dislike, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601-6653, 909-601 NMLF. Twat us at the Twitters, or leave a voice message on our Anchor FM account, and you can be featured on a future episode.
And join us next week as we find out what is in the box, as we cover 1995's Seven with our pals from Roll Call, Bria and Simone.
And as always, be kind and rewind.